All right, guys. Can everybody hear me okay? Fantabulous. Fantabulous. All right, I'm going to drop this one audio source here. So hopefully now this is all going to work. Hope you guys enjoyed that music that comes from the Kingdoms and Conquerors free audio music collection in Foundry. I kind of dig this one. And you may be hearing more of that as we go along. So, hey folks, welcome back. Good to see everybody. I'm sorry we couldn't game last week, but between the Super Bowl and my work travel, that just wasn't going to happen, I'm afraid. But hopefully everybody got a chance to get a nice rest and get ready for today's game. Picking up where you guys left off, you guys had just gotten through a pretty hellacious battle on the top of Ragnarok, the ancient henge mound holy place belonging to the children of Talos, which is what you've discovered to be the name of the half orc tribe that was displaced from Ice Spire Peak and more or less actually escaped from bondage there. They were kind of already under the not quite the dominion, but a little bit of that. They were kind of being dominated by and owned by and kind of abused by the orcs that were up there before something bigger and even badder came in there and displaced the orcs. And in the chaos, it looks like the children of Talos managed to get out and start trying to have a life of their own, reclaiming their land, which makes up a lot of the woods in the Neverwinter region. You guys were waylaid by another party of the hybrids again. This time they're sending more and more of the big baddies after you, seemingly looking to try and take you guys out more. But as you came into the top of the henge, within some sort of a protective magical bubble that you discovered on the top of it, not only were you able to defeat those creatures, you had your um, your cleric had a commune, if you will, with the natural spirit that lives on that hill, an enormous wild boar crackling with electrical energy and magic. No sooner had you dispatched the enemies than you found the ground opened up in front of you, and the patrons, the half orc priests that were there, motioned to this opening for you. And you see, as you were looking down, a set of stairs descending down into depths unknown, into darkness, and out of view. And that's where we left off. Are there any questions anyone had before we start with our game today? Well, okay, yes. With the last episode, there were a couple of different things you guys could have been doing. You had learned that there was definitely, in fact, human trafficking taking place, and Weston Harbin had actually confessed that although he didn't know exactly who he was doing it for, there were a number of different locations that he was sending people. He was sending some of them to Ice Spire Peak. He was sending some of them to the mines, and he was sending some of them to the old abandoned lighthouse out on the coast. Those are the three locations. And the person that was giving him his instructions, he had never met, but he is still receiving instructions to this day with respect to that. Now, uh, Darren Alderleaf had been working with Bart to try and kind of get some sort of semblance of order back in the city. The city is still under siege from the dragons, but Darren had sent out word to Neverwinter asking for the local guards to send the local constabulary to send out some sort of guards to the city. Uh, that was something that had been sent out through an old buddy of his. Hopefully, he's expecting to see some assistance come back in the next couple of days. Harbin had mentioned that he had done so as well. So you guys were on your way to Neverwinter to try and reach the constabulary there, reach the military group that you've had some connections with, to try and get some additional assistance. Plus, you had learned that the Arcane Brotherhood and the one of the older wizards brotherhoods seemingly is interconnected with the Dragon Guild through some artifacts that you had found in Harbin Winter's, Weston Harbin's desk, and you were on your way to Neverwinter to see if you could have somebody potentially identify what those were, and to try and get to the bottom or get some more information around what does this relationship with the Arcane Brotherhood mean? What does the involvement of this older Wizards Guild mean? And also to probably alert some of your own constituentories that to let them know what seems to have happened with respect to the taking down of Wave Echo Cave and what that means, what you've discovered with respect to these hybrid creatures and uh, the Harbor and the Dragon Guild and what they probably the Dragon Cult and what they may be up to. I think I covered everything. Does that make sense? Well, you have been hunted in the last little bit. You've noticed as you've been wandering about that you most definitely have been hunted. When you were on the edges of the forest, um, after you had dispatched the last group that had looked for you, where you discovered some very interesting coins that seemed to have been very freshly minted, which included some elements of Neverwinter you've never seen before. Uh, you had heard that evening at least three distinct sources of dragon roars, and one actually came very, very close to the place where you guys were. Fortunately, you were hidden off in the forest, and you weren't discovered. But the bodies that you had killed, where you had disposed of them in the ground off to the other side of the road, about 100 yards away, did get discovered. And fortunately, that dragon did not continue to pursue finding out where you guys were. Well, dragons are rarely not trouble. We'll just put it that way. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Get to Neverwinter, and in the meantime, we really have to think of some reinforcements to not die.
That would probably be a good idea. Yes, and I think the party had decided that, so that's
Mm-hmm.
why I think you were all headed to Neverwinter, was to try and establish that kind of support. Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh,
All right.
let's
So
boogie.
everybody ready to go? All right. So where
Boogie woogie.
you guys were standing on the top of Ragnarok. You were looking at the opening in the ground, and the four priests had sort of melted and vanished away from you. What would the party like to do? Would you like to proceed down into the opening, or do you want to continue back on your way towards Neverwinter?
I can't
My
remember what that looks
What
like. Can you
opening?
place this on the map?
Certainly, I will be more than happy to preload that position and show you guys what that looks like. One moment here. All right.
my game's still showing paused. Is that
Yep. Because I had just brought you guys back on, so I had not hit the unpause button until I had you here.
okay?
Ah, yes. The pit.
So do
Yes.
we
This
want
whole
to go
thing.
in the entrance over on the side or just go directly and drop in? Elrin, it's kind of your place. This is a
Um,
temple mound for Tempest, so you make the call.
yeah. You said there's a pit?
Yep, right where you're looking right now, there is
Oh,
in
this.
fact a pit there, and it's interesting because as you start looking into the pit itself, uh, you normally would be able to see some sort of light coming out of it, but unfortunately,
Hmm.
because of what you guys, when you're looking at it, you don't actually see anything inside of the light itself. It's it's almost like it's absorbing the light when you're looking at it, if you
Can
understand what I mean.
um can the paladin like toss a light in there or something?
Yeah, I'll grab a stone or something off the ground and light it up and toss it in.
All right. So as you go and toss that in, uh, you notice that it just kind of disappears as you throw it in.
Looks like magical darkness to
Because my
me.
instincts are telling me, I don't know, my instincts are telling me that it's like a shortcut or something for the temple.
Yeah, it would seem like something we could go in, but there's also a door over on the side of the mound. Maybe one of the more perceptive players can take a look. Damien Cauldron.
Yeah, yeah, let's do that.
All right. So as you guys noticed as you were approaching, and I'll kind of zoom back a little bit for folks who didn't catch this, there appears to be a couple of different large doorways that are plinth off on the northern end of where you were observing. They were kind of large open doorways, no door itself that you could see on the outside of them. One on the very bottom level, very close to the tree line in the northeast of you, and another one that's on the second level to the northwest of you.
Does anything seem like it's calling to us more than another, or is it just all kind of, at this point, it's a coin flip?
Let's see. Let's see. With respect to you, so, give me an insight roll. You want to roll an 18 or better.
Oh, fuck.
You don't detect any either one of the openings. Neither one of them seems to be calling you particularly over the other.
I'm still struck by this hole in the ground. Um, how did this hole appear again?
After the battle, the priests formed sort of a circle around it and pressed their hands together. The hole opened and they nodded to you, and then they vanished.
Hmm. I'm gonna go in at least. Can I have a stone or something? One of the talking stones?
Sure, I'll give you
I feel
my
like this.
talking stone.
Great.
Would you like a
This is
rope?
so intentional. I must check it out.
Okay. Let me see something here really quickly. This is Elren, right? Oh no, it is Elren, yes. Let me see something really quickly.
Mhm.
This is interesting. I don't see your character's icon anymore. There you are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everybody the ability to see through you. Okay? So that way
Cool.
other people can see what you got. So everyone will know what you're up to. All right? Because when you go down in there, you will be on a different place. So let me go and click that. All right, so everyone should be able to see through your eyes now as we take you where you need to go.
Oh, it's this guy again.
That is correct. As you descend down the stairs, you feel yourself passing through another membrane, as you feel almost as if you're passing from the physical world into an ethereal one that is made of magic and spirits. As you get to the bottom of these stairs, the room begins to be illuminated, and you see standing before you once again the patron of the children of Talos, who is standing. You can make out that there's something behind him, but it's very, very hard to see. It's not exactly clear from where you are, and as a result, you can't exactly determine what's there, but he looks to you and says, "Child, you have done well to protect the children of Talos. You have proven your worth and your dedication. Enter into the holy sanctum. But know you this, only the followers of Talos may enter. All others will meet their doom. Go now, child of the storm." And as he says that, he vanishes, but you feel yourself pulled forward, and you find yourself standing on the steps of an ancient building. The rock that is surrounding you is very similar to the rock that you saw that had made up the archways of the henge itself. Two of the priests that you saw up on the plain are standing as sentinels on the other side of the door. They don't say anything, they just point towards the door for you.
Okay, I'm gonna walk in.
All right. As you walk in, you find yourself at the bottom of a very large tower. You look above you, the ceiling is easily 100 feet above you, of shimmering sapphire-like stone. The floor underneath you is polished, the stones being of multiple different colors of blues and grays, in the form of the Eye of Talos in the center of the room. On either side, you see another one of the another one of the priests standing. They are guarding large crystal, what looked almost like lamps or like large braziers that are filled with bluish white crystals, and inside each one of those crystals there is an echoing energy of electricity that arcs and sparks around. They move their hands in and out of them as if they're kind of massaging them, or working them like a potter would be working raw clay. They look to you and then they nod their head. At the far end of the room, at the north end, you see a figure that you've seen before, only she looks slightly different this time. When you look forward, you see the oracle that was standing at the wellspring where Abigail had been buried. You see her standing there in front of her own brazier herself, but she is emanating an energy off of her that is even stronger. You see it actually illuminating the floor, bringing it together with the energy that's already there of an electrical sort, as if fire and electricity and thunder were all mixing together in some sort of bizarre magical concoction. You see her standing there. She is, her eyes closed, and her hands reaching out towards the orb in the chandelier in front of her. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna approach her and, I don't know, get on a knee, take a knee.
All right. When you get to the center of the Eye of Talos, you take a knee, at which point the Oracle turns around and sees you. Hello, my child. It is good to see you again. I heard that you performed admirably in the battle above.
I couldn't have done it without my friends, my fellow travelers.
Yes, your brothers and sisters that travel with you are a motley crew, but they do seem to have good hearts. But there is one that you have had in your company, to whom we seek. The land here has been corrupted, child, and we seek one of the Fae to help us purify it and return it to its natural state. Do you have the child with you?
No, she is back in Phandalin with her father.
As you say that, you see the woman's face look, a strange look come upon it. It's not anger, it looks like concern. This is most disturbing, child. The girl of the Fae is in great danger as her father. He does not know, but she has outgrown him and the protection he can afford her. You must bring her here so that we may properly take her to the next level of her understanding. Are you willing to take on this task?
Okay, hold on. Out of character for a second. For God's sake. God's sakes, I've got a million things to do. Okay. Okay, I'm back in character. So we're currently trying to restore order in Middle Earth because of the dragons that have taken over the lands.
Yes.
I can help with this, but I I need to be able to convince my 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 fellow travelers that this is something that we need to go back to do before we go there.
As you say that, you see a familiar face suddenly waft in next to her. Hi there, sister. But you know, I warned you that you might want to keep an eye on the little one. She's important. He turns towards the Oracle
Well,
and bows to the Oracle and says, Begging your pardon, sister. Don't mean to be interrupted. The Oracle bows back to him and says, No, my brother, you're welcome here always. The oracle looks to you and says, we are aware of what the dragons are trying to do here. We have always stood guard against the dragons, but since the orcs and the men have taken the land from us, the protection we have gathered to them is no longer potent enough to hold them back, especially with the incoming influences of a, shall we say, darker nature.
Okay. I I can probably convince my party members, but I need to I need a way to convince her dad, who is really would probably rather just keep her out of all of this.
The oracle,
And he's a nice guy,
oh yeah,
and we owe him a great deal. We owe him lots of gratitude and grace. And so I really, really don't want to like fully kidnap his daughter. That would not be a good idea.
the little gnomish creature starts to giggle when you say that. Oh, if you only knew, she's way past him. She'd be the one protecting him, not the other way around.
Well, it's a difficult it's a difficult chemistry there because she doesn't know that. She doesn't know any of it. And I'm not going to be the one to break the news to her.
The oracle floats over towards you and lands next to you and says, yes, my child, what you're saying is not incorrect. The girl knows nothing, but she is very powerful, and she needs us to be able to teach her how to harness that power. Her father is not her father. He is her protector. He is no more her father than you are her mother. But you have protected her and cared for her despite yourselves. Bring her to us when you must and when you feel ready. If you feel that your
Is
travels
this
take you somewhere else, you can go there, but understand the child is in danger. While she is powerful, she is exposed, and it is not impossible for her to be harmed. That would be. She kind of closes her eyes and looks at the floor. A true tragedy.
Could she help us fight the dragons? Will this assist in that, or is this a completely separate thing that would require more materials, more people, more time?
As you say that, the little gnomish guy walks up to you and he goes, hey, I'm beginning to think I picked the wrong people for this. How could you not be paying any attention? Do you not recognize what I told you? You'll be looking for pieces of the old ones, the ones that were left behind. Very much like the lady that you brought to me the first time. This is what the child is. She is the second piece.
Okay. Well, I will tell my party and I will try to we'll figure out a way to make this happen. But I would really like to not get on Bart's bad side because he's a good guy and I think he really cares about her.
Ah, well, it's a noble thought, to be sure. But be aware, Bart is well aware of what her true nature is. And he's
Mm.
probably beginning to realize that the magic that her mother made her from is beginning to awaken. But I'll let you talk with him. He's a nice man after all, when he's not running people through walls.
True. All right. I'll figure something out.
I see that you do. In the meantime, I'll go back and see how things are going myself. He turns to the oracle and bows. Sister, I'll be seeing you soon, I think. And as he says that, he disappears from in front of you. The oracle looks at you and she goes, Child, I'll not be sending you out there with no protection. That is not seemly. For a daughter of Talos, I'll be making sure you've got some kind of protection. And as she says, you start to feel yourself being covered with a shimmering energy that goes beyond your material armor that you're wearing. And in addition, you feel yourself being blessed as the damage that you had taken before is immediately removed, and you find yourself feeling energized and having even more protection. You feel stronger, you feel guarded, and as a result, you feel yourself taking on an even stronger position of magic. This is pretty interesting. It's not working here. Let me try this. There we go. There you are. It's not letting me
Whoa.
update your armor class for some reason.
I'm seeing spells getting added, or am I just reading all this shit for the first time?
No, you're reading it right. You
Whoa,
feel
you guys! Toys!
the oracle turns to you and says, You'll be feeling a little strange for a while, but it'll be for your benefit that you have it there. Be well, young one, and I'll be seeing you soon. And as she says that, she goes back over to the brazier, the crystal that she was working with, and you feel yourself being summoned towards the door, and you start to float across the room, and you find yourself at the entrance. As you turn around and look back into the room, you see the two priests bow to you, and as they begin to bow to you, you feel yourself getting lightheaded, almost sleepy, and you find yourself beginning to be pulled upwards, and your body begins to tingle with a strange energy that you've not had before. But as it starts to happen and your feet start to come off of the ground, you realize this is not unlike the sensation you had when you first entered into the top of the henge, when the priest first beckoned you in, and shortly thereafter you find yourself back at the entrance to the pit at the top of the henge where you were before.
Okay, so don't be mad. Don't be mad, guys. But I think we have to go back to Phandalin.
Really?
You guys saw all that. You saw all that happen. I really think this was a very obvious nudge from the higher ups that this has to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, where are we in terms of the map, DM?
You guys are deep in the heart of Neverwinter Forest. You are quite literally halfway between Phandalin and Neverwinter. The closest thing to you would be Cragmaw Castle, which would be about a day away, roughly east-ish, based on your recollections of where you were in the past. The lumberyard, the forestry camp that you had found, would be about a day and a half to the north, a little bit to the east.
Which
Never went.
direction is Phandalin? What's on?
Phandalin is directly south, 2 days through the forest, which would take you out
Okay.
to the Tybor Trail. So roughly about a 2.5 day march to get there. To get to Neverwinter through where you are in the forest, going north, it's going to be at least 3 days to get out of the forest. At least 3, maybe 4, to get out of the forest. Your fastest way out is back the way you came. That's only about a 2-day march. Going north would be closer to 4. Going west would be closer to 4. Going east would be more like 8. But, you know, you could probably make Cragmont a little bit less time than that.
What does the party think?
Now, I will point out, and I'm not meaning to
What
metagame,
is
but I want to make...
Cragmaw?
Cragmaw was the castle that you rescued,
Oh, yeah.
Gundren from.
I feel like that's just another opportunity to run into some yuckos.
Potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. But taking a step back, there
What does
are in
everybody?
fact still those 2 doorways that you guys found. There may be more. You didn't see the other side of the map. If you zoom out a little bit, you can see there's the one door that I mentioned up here in the northeast, and another one in the northwest. Northeast and northwest. There may be other doors as well.
Yeah, true. Before we go on, do we want to just rummage around here and see if we can find anything else that's useful?
Why not?
Right? Bit.
All right, so where would you like to go first?
Pick a door, any door kind of a thing?
Yep.
We can just go clockwise and start up here at that northeast door.
Getting a weird... Hold on a moment here. Getting a weird... Makiko, Nidako, can you do me a favor? Go into your character and tell me what armor class you see.
13.
Number. That is not what that is supposed to be. It is supposed to be, at the very least, your armor, which would be at least 18, because you are wearing chainmail. Let's try this again. Bless you. That's disconcerting. Alright, we're gonna have to... Let's try something here. Huh. That's weird. I can't get your person to recognize that you have armor on. It's just giving me an AC of 13, which is not correct. Let's try this. Interesting. All right, guys. Before we start searching, let's take a 10-minute break while I figure out what happened with everybody's armor classes, because everyone's got the wrong armor class. Let me go fix that. All right?
Oh no.
All right. We'll be back in
All right.
5
Thank
minutes.
you. KK.
5 minutes or 10 minutes?
I'm going to say 10 minutes because I know that 5 minutes will never go that fast. So we'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
to have it off, but it's just because I can't have the Twitch audio on and the Discord audio on, or else you're just going to be bouncing around. So. No, it's okay. Just continue. We're in a fight. We don't have time for this. I can just imagine us
I'm trying to.
like scrolling through Spotify and be like, let's pick out a song, and like the demons are like, are we? Hello. Oh.
Well, could you imagine what I would be doing? I just got a bunch of new spells, so I'm sitting here reading my spell book. Could you imagine Elrin just standing there like flipping through books, being like, hang on guys, be right there."
Actually, I've seen that happen in games, and if you are a fan of Critical Role and we're watching what's been happening this week, you probably saw that happen, and it was
So funny.
pretty funny.
Like, wait.
All right, so Elrin, like I said, it's up to you. What would you like to do first?
Here's the thing: is that I'm so far. Are they down here to the south?
Well, they're ahead of you in the trees, so you might want to catch up to them.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna move forward. I'm gonna move. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna move like right here, or like behind this rock where the paladin is. Oh, for goodness sakes. Oh, come on. I can't move through the trees. Could you help me out? I just want to move right here.
Show me where. There.
Right there.
How
I
far was
placed my
that?
marker.
Was that 60 feet or 30 feet? That was only you could still actually cast. I just did that was only 30 feet. You can still do something.
I actually still can't see them from where I'm at.
That is true.
So from here, I think maybe I'll just cast. Maybe it's overkill, but I might just cast aid.
All right, who are you gonna target with your aid?
Let me see how many people I get with this. Every day, every gosh darn round, I'm like, I have no idea what any of this stuff
You
does.
said it. I
and
didn't.
It all sounds like. Choose up to 3 creatures within range.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So.
I think your range is 60 feet or something like that.
Well, let's see. It's generally cauldron. Okay. I'm gonna do Damien since he usually gets hurt.
Yeah, you
I'm
can
gonna
only.
do
By the way,
Druger.
your range is only 30 feet, so I think Ruger may be out of range for you.
Oh, I thought you said. Sorry, it is 30. My apologies.
Yep. So he's out of
That
range.
is way out of range.
Yep.
Way out of range.
Yeah, he's a good 45, 50 feet away from you right now.
How far is Cauldron?
She's only about 15 feet behind you, 15, 20 feet behind you, and obviously Damien.
That's Ravina.
Yeah. So Damien's kind of like right here on top of the rock in front of you. So, you know, he's kind of...
Great.
If you want to try and get to him, there you go. You got 8 on him. Who else were you trying to cast it on? You said you were trying to cast it on...
Ravina and Cauldron.
Ravina and Cauldron. Okay, so they all have aid running on them. They do indeed. Perfect. Okay,
Yep.
Everyone's got
Sorry.
aid running on them. Excellent. Ruger, it is your turn, sir.
Do I have a visible target?
You do not. They have cover at the moment.
We got to get them out from behind the cover. Okay, I will fly and run forward 30 feet, see if I can catch them in the bushes.
Okay.
How far is 30 feet? Will that make it to the bushes?
30 feet, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You will just get to about here. That's as far as you can fly? It's 30?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Let me fly high up above
Okay.
and see if they can come out from under the tree cover to come get me.
All right. Let me increase your height then to, let's go take you up as high as you can go, which is about 30 feet. You're now 30 feet in the air. And as you come in, as you get here to the edge, you still can't make it through, see what's going on the other side, but you can kind of get you think you can see a little bit of movement over in this area. Right,
I'm
either
not sure.
there or there. You think you see some movement, but you can't really get a good read on a target.
Okay, I didn't really get a good idea where there and there was.
Oh, in this direction or in
Okay,
this direction? You think you
gotcha.
saw some movement.
Yeah, I'll send the owl that way when his turn comes.
Very good. Mr. Owl has been brought back from being invisible. You've brought him back out of the pocket dimension. You find him. There he is. Boink. He is now visible. All right. All right. And just as you are floating up, just a split second before it happens, you see the ground break open in front of Druger, and a creature pops up out of the ground and leaps on him where he is on the stone.
Where's Druger? I'm afraid all I've got are like dots on the screen.
He's right here in front of you, standing on top of the rock.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I don't see anyone's icons.
Okay,
Let me try refreshing.
that sounds good.
You guys go ahead with the battle.
You see this bluish, you've seen one of these before. It was in your last battle. One of these lizard-like creatures leaps up out of the ground. The ground erupts in front of the stone, and it bounces up towards the rock and quickly tries to bite into our bold dwarf, but its teeth chomp down on nothing but empty air as it misses him on its first attack. All right, moving on. Cauldron, it is your turn.
Gonna dash. To here.
Excellent. All of a sudden, you see this fire Nasi come blasting past you, just hauling butt, as it were.
Am I moving on your end? Because I...
Okay, where are you trying to go? Show me exactly where you're trying
Just
to go on the...
60 feet down, pretty much.
Okay. I think you're getting hung up. There we go.
Yeah, I just couldn't see anything over here, even though Ruger had his
Right.
huge light show.
Exactly. So I think that puts you right about there at the edge of that rock. Check 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exactly. 60 feet. There you go.
And I'd like to pull out my bow. Which actually, I can't do that. Well, now I could dash as a bonus action, and then pull out my bow. And target this guard drake.
Incidentally, I don't know if anybody is noticing this. There is a shadow under Ruger to indicate that he is 30 feet in the air. Does anybody else see that?
Nice.
I had
I
never
do
seen
see
Yep.
that.
That's new. I just thought that's cool. So, you are definitely flying, sir.
Excellent.
All
That
right.
was my goal. That's
All
all I
right.
wanted to do today.
Oh, a rare miss. A rare miss. Is that the end of your action, ma'am?
That is the end of my turn.
All right. You hear something hissing inside of the woods. And stepping out of the woods is one of the fiends that you had seen earlier in Axholm. Steps out towards our good friend Druger and tries to do it is going to do a reckless attack. It will gain advantage on all of its melee weapon attack rolls during this turn, but attack rolls against it will also have advantage until the start of the next turn. So, reckless attack engaged. Bastard sword at the ready, attacking Druger with advantage. And hits. Damage. A minimal amount of damage. Druger sees him coming and manages to step slightly back, and the rock gets in the way of the blade as the creature tries to stab at him, and it goes off easily off into the distance. But despite missing with the sword, it reaches out with its offhand and tries to claw at him. And also manages to attack. Slashing the poor dwarf, it does 12 points of damage. You see the dwarf step out of the way of the bastard sword easily, but then as he tries to right himself, you see these silvery claws scratch across his chest as he falls backwards off of the rock and gets knocked onto the ground behind the rock.
Coming, Druger.
The owl is now involved in combat and can now swoop in from where he is. Unfortunately, he was behind you guys, but we'll get him up here as quickly as we can. Bring him in. Bring him to you guys. Oh, he's in the way of that thing. So let me just do this. Okay, there we are. Come on. There we are.
How
All right.
close can the owl get and still attack?
Depending on the spell you want to use, I think some of your spells still have range here. The range is only 75 feet to either one of those. I think you may have spells that are able to make that distance up.
Okay. Let's do that.
Do you not have anything with range?
Oh, no, I'm just looking. Sorry, it takes me a second.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can do Bolt of Planar Lightning against the guy that just showed up.
Very good. Target him and let her
Okay.
rip. Just making sure nobody else is targeted, because that could be... It's usually an owie when that one hits. Bolt of Planar Lightning cast. Give us your attack, sir.
Hey. Oh, what a bummer.
All right. Unfortunately, you missed. As the bolt blasts through the tree, snapping branches and snapping trees directly in half. The creature is unfortunately missed with your attack. Moving on to the next creature in the attack, that would be... Another creature steps out of the bushes, also looking remarkably like the other one that you saw just a moment ago. And as it does, it also targets our good friend, the dwarf. And it tries to catch him with hits. It also chooses to do reckless attack for this round.
Wait, who was Ruger trying to hit with the bolt of planar lightning? Should he have had advantage?
This one here.
Yeah, I think it rolled twice.
Okay.
One was like a 5 and one was an 8. Disappointing for advantage.
Wow. Yes. I did not see the attacks coming in, but here we go. Advantage. They both miss with that blow, but he tries also with his, instead of using his claws, he whips his back over towards Druger and tries to instead take him out with a bite. And he manages to hit. Ruger ends up taking 7 points of cold damage and how much? Oh, 20, oh, only 7 points. 7 points of damage total of both bite, and you see frost where he has been bitten forming on his armor as the dwarf cries out in rage. Ravina. Job opportunity.
I mean, is it though? Because I don't got a lot of long range stuff, I don't think.
Your Scorching Ray could reach most of your
Pretty
offensive
sure
spells can
Eldritch
hit.
Blast is at least 60 feet, if not 120.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
You
I
might.
just don't want to take up a spell slot, to be honest. Can I go around? How far are they from me right now? Like pretty far.
Yeah, but if
I
you
could
step,
go.
you step here, you've still got partial cover. Okay, you still got partial cover from the rocks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you still got partial cover from where you're standing. By the
But
way,
see, like, I don't want to use any of the rays because I'm scared I'm gonna hit Druger.
you know what? I think Druger wouldn't mind at this point. Druger is already down to half of his hit points.
Do I want to make that worse? I don't know.
With
Don't.
advantage, I don't think you're going to make it worse. You're going to be
Okay.
shooting him with advantage, so
Okay, then I'll do.
you might
Eldritch
miss, but your
Blast.
chance of rolling 2 1s is pretty unlikely.
All right.
True.
Go ahead and target.
Do you need me to do that?
Oh yes, please.
Hold on a second. Let me take off. Hold on a second. He is now no longer has half cover because he is out of the bushes.
We're going with Eldritch Blast or
Yeah, with advantage, right?
He's right here. You can see him, right?
I don't. Yeah, I targeted.
Okay, good. You did? Because I don't see the dot on him.
I see it.
Okay. Let her rip.
With advantage?
With advantage. And it
Nice.
strikes the lizardy looking creature, gets blasted directly in the chest. And it takes 15 points of
Nice.
damage and gets knocked back.
Nice.
Let's see, he has to make a strength check. Saving throw. No, that's supposed to be an ability check. Normal. And he does not make it, so he gets pushed back 5 feet. Boom. He is no longer in striking range of
Now I
Ruger.
can't see it again.
All right. You still have 2 more beams you can fire.
Excellent.
But I can't see him though anymore.
There's one you can see here, and there's one
What?
right here. You're just having a hard time seeing him in the bush. Here, let me do this.
Oh, I see. Yes, I see.
Oh, all right. Well, then either of those.
Oh, in all the artwork, it was hard to see.
Oh, there he
Cool.
is, the little bugger.
Little bugger.
A little bugger.
Remember to roll with advantage.
Rowl. Sorry.
Sorry, my computer's a little slow right now.
And you hit. Please give me your damage attack, please.
Damage.
And you strike for 8 points of
No.
damage.
That's all right.
Let's see if
That's
he
all
can.
right.
All right.
Let me see if he gets knocked backwards. And he does not. He manages to withstand. You blast. You see the green eldritch energy ripping over his body, and you see him howling in pain, but he manages to stand his ground.
All right, hit the same guy again.
Okay, one more one, right?
Yeah, advantage
Yeah,
The
this is
still.
the
same
last
guy?
one.
Yep, with advantage.
Yeah. Because he's the one closest to Druger right now, so.
There it goes. But unfortunately, this time you miss.
No!
The beam passes harmlessly off into the branches behind him, smashing through trees and smashing branches, but lands harmlessly off in the distance.
Alright, it's alright.
It's all right. So far, you're the only one who's really getting a serious wound. Now, Druger gets up. Druger looks over at the creature standing next to him and goes, "All right, my turn." As he goes and targets the creature standing next to him as he takes out Hugh. Oops, that's...
I like to think that the axe's name is literally like Hugh, like Hugh.
Yeah, like our cousin and...
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Wait,
And...
it's
I think it gives the
not?
axe personality.
What?
I think it gives it personality.
It's not?
No, it's Hugh as in to cut.
I know, but thinking it's a dude's name Hugh gives the axe more personality.
I know, Makiko. He's not talking to you.
Oh, sorry.
I literally thought that the axe's name was Hugh.
Druger is going to attack with a menacing attack. If he is successful and the creature fails his saving throw, he will be scared and will be running for its furry little life. Pulls
His
out
name isn't
Hugh.
Hugh?
Furry? Are any of our enemies furry?
No, these ones are okay. Scaly life. Thank you very much. Attacking with advantage, and
Can you
he
imagine? They'd
does
be a
in
lot
fact
less
hit.
scary.
And he manages to hit for 14 points of damage. Brutal shot. And he goes and repeats the same thing again. Now, wait a minute. That was a successful hit, which means that this creature needs to be able to try and has to resist. Now, what is the be frightened? The target must make a wisdom saving throw on a... Oh, okay. Here we go. Wisdom saving throw. Saving throw of a 16 or less. And he fails. He fails. So he is now going to want to run away. But before he does, Druger is going to get his second attack against him, which is also with advantage. And he hits again for 11 more points of damage. And Druger is feeling the blood, so he decides he's going to go and use Action Surge. And he's going to get one more attack on this creature. It's like, you gonna smack me? I'll smack you! So he targets him again with Hugh. I just laughed now knowing that you guys never realized that. And he attacks again with advantage. And it is a critical hit. So this will be critical versatile hit, so we will roll the damage and multiply it by 2. Critical hit. It is. Oh, brutal. He ends up hitting for 19 points of
Brutal.
damage. The creature takes a brutal shot as it turns to run. Druger's blades go directly through its back, just underneath its wings, and it howls and hisses as it gets ready to run away. All right. And that is the end of Druger's actions for this round. Moving on to the next creature. That would be our good buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Our good
5,
buddy.
6. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. He can't get into range and still attack. So
Bow or spell?
well, I'm just trying to see what he's going to do here that'll make the most sense. All right, he's already got. All right. If I were him, I would use extra attack. I'd use does he get that feature? He does. He's going to use action surge to be. Does action, let me see now, let me take another look at that. Does action surge let him actually move again? One additional action on top of your regular action and a possible bonus action. So all he can really do is this, which kind of sucks. So he's going to hit this
Well,
guy.
he can move beforehand if he.
If he uses action surge, does that apply to
Yeah.
movement though?
How did he move at all this turn?
He did. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. I don't think it increases your movement.
doesn't
Though he could
increase your-
dash.
That's true. That would get him there. Okay, let's hold off on the action surge then. Let's find out if he even needs that.
He could still use action surge and dash and make an attack
Yep.
on the same turn.
We're looking for the one that he's got that's actually, because he would know not to use a non-magical weapon against this thing. I was just trying to make sense of his inventory, but unfortunately he misses. Ugh. Okay. Extra attack, tries again. And manages to hit with the second one. And hits for 8 more points of damage. There we go. Elrin, the sword is in your court.
Except I don't think I have a sword, but I'm excited nonetheless.
The pasta's in your pot. Because I heard the knife
What?
is in your court. I was like, the pasta's in your pot. I don't know. Anyways,
What the hell?
I don't know. I'm
It-
exhausted.
Is
All right, I'm
someone gaming
delusional.
hungry?
I think so.
Oh,
I think
I'm
someone's.
starving.
All
I'm
right.
starving.
All right. Your turn there, Elrin.
Pasta's in your pot.
It's in my pot. Down. Da, da, da.
What are you trying to...
Da-da.
Oh, Sacred Flame? Okay. Perfect. You
Yeah.
did 9 points of damage, provided he cannot make his dexterity saving throw. Let's try his dex saving throw. Does not have great dex. He has to make a 14 or better. Two! Absolutely not. So the damage does in fact get applied to him, which takes him down another 9 points. The creature is now significantly wounded and starting to shriek in horrifying tones. Ruger.
Yeah, I can finally see them.
Well, you can see two of them. That one and that
Yeah,
one.
I brought enough light. I mean,
You did. Actually, a little bit too much. You're kind of like too shiny. Shiny. Sorry, I'm
I,
now.
It's
I
like
had
when
the
people
exact
turn their
same
high
thought.
beams on.
I now suddenly have the song from
Hmm.
All I
Moana.
know is the chorus.
Isn't bright light like this like an interrogation tactic too?
It is actually.
Hmm.
All right, but here comes bad news for the dragon types. As the Dragon Slayer sword comes out, attacking with advantage, sir. You rolled double ones.
how is that even possible?
Listen, Ruger, it's
I'm
alright.
blaming the computerized RNG.
Jeez.
Weapon dropped.
No.
Do I get to use the other weapon, or is it just?
Yes, you can draw your other weapon.
Well, I fight two-handed, so it was probably already drawn.
All right. Yes, that's true. You do fight two-handed. So that in your other, so you went to swing, and on as you were landing, you kind of like whoops, and out of it, you came whipping out of your hand and stuck into the ground in front of you. So go ahead and strike with the other weapon.
I meant to do that. I meant to do that.
We can't make it look too easy. Can't make it look too
Right.
easy.
I was just throwing it down like a gauntlet to scare him, you know.
All right.
Distraction.
Right.
And you hit.
Finally. I almost don't believe it myself.
All right. And you hit for 13 points of damage. The creature
Is
is
that
now.
including radiant soul damage?
Oh, that's right. I was
Oh,
going to say Radiant Soul adds
I,
damage.
I was going to add a little bit of
I was going to say,
smite damage, but I can do that next time.
let's see.
Well, you can declare smites after
Yeah,
it
you can.
hits.
Yeah, it's totally fine because the smite doesn't take unless it hits anyways.
Excellent.
So
I'll do
how
a divine
about?
spite.
Okay, let's figure out what your radiant damage does first, because you are in
Okay.
radiant mode, and he is definitely someone that would not like that. Radiant Soul.
Equals my level, so 5.
So you do an extra 5 points of damage. Noted.
And then I'm going to do a second level spell slot, divine spite.
Alrighty.
Do I have to roll it? That's weird.
Uh, I think you just need to roll the damage.
Okay. There
So
we go.
so you're in a second level spell slot, so that's 3d8?
3 die. Yeah.
Alright, go ahead. Let it roll.
Wait, no, wouldn't it be 2d8 for first level, 3d8 for second level, plus
Ye-
1 because it's a fiend?
yes, exactly. I was just reading it. So it'll be 4d8. Sorry, someone is like texting the heck out of me here. I'm trying to see who this is. Alright, was trying to see if that was your brother trying to get back in.
Okay, so it's 3d8 plus 1. Is that what you're saying? Or plus 1 die 8?
4d8.
4d8.
4d8. Got it. Sorry.
I think if
Imagine
you had
just like
clicked
48 dice.
yeah, 48 dice. No, I think if you actually clicked versatile, I think it might have actually done it for you automatically. But we can check.
No, it didn't do it automatic.
All right.
But let me add. I can't tell from the formula to the customized formula which one it's really going to take. So I'm just
I
going
can't
to
even
roll
see
it.
what
And
you're rolling.
we'll add die 8s.
Okay. So that's 4, and let me just go ahead and roll 2 more. So 10, so 14. All right. It's 43, 33. Okay, got it. Wow, that was pretty powerful. Divine Smite, is there any lasting effect on that?
No, it's just
Well,
damage.
yeah, I think it's
okay.
just damage.
I was thinking of Branding Smite.
Right.
All right. All right, just as you do that, you see something come charging up through the bushes towards you to take a bite out of you. So let me just do this, because with the 2 of you guys on that side, he will not have this anymore from you. All right. You see this lizard-like creature come charging up out of the bushes towards you, snarling and slathering as it immediately tries to bite deep into your person. And it misses horribly.
Now you know how it feels.
Yes, well, then it spins around to try and attack you with its tail. And also misses. For the guy
That's
who
not
is
very
like
supporting.
for a guy who was unable to keep his hand on his sword, you were gracefully dodging and weaving out of the way of the attack. As the tail whips towards your face, you easily dip underneath it, and the tail slaps mercilessly and uselessly against the side of the rock, chipping off pieces of stone, but otherwise doing no damage. And we move on to the next creature in combat, which is everybody's favorite pincushion maker, Cauldron.
Go, creature, go. Go, creature, go.
Gonna try to. Did this guy reckless? Or which, if any, of these 2 Abishai reckless?
This guy is still reckless until his next turn. It's until his next turn, and he's still. So I think he still counts as being reckless for you.
Yeah.
He would be. This guy has not struck again. Yeah, they're both still reckless until their next turns.
Yep. So attack, I get advantage.
And would this count as a sneak attack?
It would. Was that a 5 and a 6 or a 5 and a 16?
Let's see. I can tell you exactly.
I think
It was a 6 and an 18.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I just guess I didn't see it. What? So it would be a sneak attack.
Alrighty. Oh, that's just so wrong. So, and that's just the piercing damage from the sneak attack. Do you still get the regular arrow damage too? You do, don't you?
Did I not roll sneak
Nope.
attack?
You rolled sneak attack.
No, I'm pretty sure that was 46 because it's a d6 damage.
Okay, gotcha. Understood. Okay. Well, it's alive still, sorta, kinda.
That's my turn.
All right, and this thing is
I
really not
posted
happy.
a meme in the channel that was like, you'll have to look at it to understand. But I don't think rogues are really that overpowered when fighters can do damage, the same damage over multiple attacks.
Okay.
right. I saw that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. All right. Moving right along, we now are looking at the next creature up for bids on The Price is Right, and it wants a piece of that. As how do you pronounce whatever you are? I can always get it wrong.
I am the awesomer.
Awesomer,
Sometimes I'm the awesomest, but most of the time, just the awesomer will do.
awesomer. We're going reckless attack again. Reckless attack as it decides it's going to just try and have its way with you. It decides that the bastard sword is too good for you. It decides to try and bite. And a 1 and a 2. How does it miss? How does it miss? You must be like breakdancing or something, moonwalking as you landed, because nothing is hitting. No one's even coming close. Teeth clash in the air and hit nothing but air. It's like I have this vision of you like completely like Michael Jackson again right now.
Cauldron
No.
literally goes.
I literally
Cauldron
what?
literally said, "Hey, look what I can do!" Boom, chicka, pow, chicka.
All right. Well,
I
the
think
the
it's
bite.
funnier to imagine them standing still when everybody's just bad.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Well, the bite does manage to hit,
No.
and the bite does manage to land for 11 points of damage. Your radiant soul does need to get you a DC 10 saving throw to maintain your radiant soul.
Okay.
DC 10 is pretty easy.
Constitution?
Yes, against Constitution, and he makes the saving throw. So
Oh,
you
I was
manage
supposed
to.
to roll it with a modifier
Oh, when you
with the
roll a saving
Constitution.
throw for a particular attribute, click on the attribute in your character sheet.
Well, I don't
Choose
think
saving throw.
you did not say Constitution specifically.
Oh, you know what? It's
So
probably because I thought that you guys could see what was showing up on the screen. Let me show you what I mean.
yeah,
To
but
me, it looks like
Concentration
that.
is always
Yeah,
Constitution.
Okay.
CNC, just like the cola, which no longer exists, and I'm still sad about that. There we go. All right, so he manages to get a slight purchase on you with his claws, but his bite was unsuccessful. But Mr. Owl is still in the air. Let me go
All
and
right.
let me move this properly. There we are.
Who was the one that froze Druger's armor? Was that the Abishai to my left?
Yeah, that one right
Okay.
there that's been spooked, who's about to start running.
Well, I think the owl's going to take a chunk out of him
There we go.
first. So a nice little firebolt. Let's see what it can do.
And that hits. Give us some damage. That does a surprising amount of damage to you. As it manages to hit, he howls out even further. Next person up for bid is this creature who turns and begins to run, inviting opportunity attack, but you no longer have advantage because he's no longer using reckless attack. But you do get the opportunity. Both Druger, Ruger, and Damien all get a chance to get opportunity attacks against him.
Cool.
So, how about we do this in the order of initiative? So, Ruger, why don't you go ahead and get your opportunity attack in first?
Okay.
You're having a real
Wow.
problem with those. Now, the ones work both ways with you today, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Spin Doctor. You lose focus on your target and spin wildly during your attack. Unable to parry next round. You will take double damage if struck by the target you are fighting. You won't be because he's running. So
Good.
that's just basically that's a swing and a miss is really what that ended up being. All
Right.
right. We will go to Druger next. We'll take his attempt at trying to attack him. And he hits. Wow. Okay, just as this thing turns away and manages to dodge your attack, the element of its terror and fear, which is, after all, the dwarf, manages to bring the magical wood axe down directly onto the back of its fiend-like skull, and you hear a sickening crack like somebody cracking ice cubes as the blade penetrates the skull, pierces the brain, and passes harmlessly out through the other side of the body. Harmless, I say, to Druger, but fatal to the fiend as it splashes onto the ground in front of our heroes. Ravina, your turn. Boy, that menacing attack can come in handy. That's the second guy you guys have killed because he was turning to run away. All right, Ravina, you've got a character here who is you can attack with advantage. I don't know if you've got line of sight on them, though. It's kind of hard to say because there is a rock between.
Because I can see them.
Okay, you can see them because you're getting sympathetic view from these guys. But I'm not sure if, oops, sorry. I'm not sure. Yeah, you could hit this guy here. You would not be able to hit the ice drake. It's behind the rock.
You can skip my turn. Okay.
Yeah, Ruger, right here is a rock that Ruger is standing on. This guy you've got line of sight on. You've got a shot on him.
Okay. Then I will hit him with. Do Eldritch Blast again. Honestly, that's my favorite one.
Well, you're a warlock. It tends to be. From where you're standing, though, because he is in the trees, he does have partial cover from you, so go ahead and let her rip. You have up
Which
to 3
one?
beams. Eldritch Blast.
The slug or this guy?
That guy.
The one I just targeted?
Yep.
Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast. We attack with Eldritch Blast.
First one misses. With all the bodies in the way and the tree branches, you manage to strike a branch and it deflects the beam harmlessly off into the forest. I mean, I'm sure
Okay, we're gonna try again.
Sure, there's some squirrel that's not having a good time, but
Where's my home?
second one misses. There's just too much cover between you and him. Third one. And the third one misses as well.
Oh my god!
3 shots, 3 misses. Now we're on to...
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Don't be. We're just having that kind of a day.
All right. Let me
Well,
check
I'm doing
something
good, so...
I think this is...
Yes, some are doing much better.
All right. Druger decides to use, as a bonus action, Second Wind and gives himself a little HP boost. And before he steps forward and targets these guys with a sweeping attack. He targets the what do you call this thing again? The Ashar,
Abishai?
Abishai with his primary attack, and he will use.
I'd be shy.
Yeah.
I was thinking about attacking, but I'd be shy.
And he's going to, if he manages to get through, he will take a shot at the Abishai,
Was that
the
a pun?
Drake. I'm just ignoring it.
Did you
Attack
guys
with
fix up
advantage.
some cocktails before the game?
No, I'm just
No.
delusional.
Oh, very nice attack. And because it was successful, he gets to apply his. Whoa, what was that?
I
His.
thought they had to edit something out.
Yeah,
Was
I
that
was
the
thinking.
FCC?
Yeah, his superiority dice at his level, which for him is a D8.
Sorry, the buzz was a text coming in.
Got it.
Don't worry, not a fart.
Okay then. 45.
Thank you for specifying.
Yeah, thanks.
No, because you guys were like, "Oh, we gotta edit that out," and I'm like, "Nah, if someone farted, you should keep that in anyways." But like,
What? What?
it wasn't a fart; it was a text. But like,
All
either
right.
way, it
Okay.
was.
Okay. Oh my god. Extra attack. What am I how did I end up in 5th grade? All right. So attacking with
Suddenly the
Hugh.
combat doesn't seem so serious.
And let's see. This time he's going to use menacing attack. Oh, yeah, ran out of his designated item uses. Damn. All right. Okay. So it's going to be a regular attack, but it is still with advantage. And unfortunately, it misses. All right. Well, sad. All right. Damien, not wanting to be outdone, steps around the corner and targets the Ice Drake directly in front of him. He pulls out Talon, his war-bonded sword, and attacks. And hits, doing versatile damage. Ooh, that was a solid shot. 15 points of damage to the lizard. Damien swings again. Oh, and hits strong a second time. And does another 14 points of damage. The lizard is looking extremely damaged and very unhappy and is howling as 2 large wounds have been cut open in its upper chest by our resident silver-haired monster hunter. Moving along. Let's see. Oh, we're oops. Oh crap. Oh, that was weird. Put him back where he belongs. All right, well, he's not supposed to be there. Elrin, that's so funny. He's now up at the top. That was the end of his turn. Elrin, it is your turn.
It's about damn time. I'm gonna come out of the shadows. I think that's 30. Yes. I think I'm gonna get the same guy that I was just trying to attack. Why am I covered in blood? I didn't even take damage.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe it's not your blood.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I ain't got time to bleed.
I
Excellent.
was just like, ew, ew, gross.
All right. Which one did you target?
The one in front of Druger.
The one in front of Druger.
hate
This
this
gentleman here?
cluster.
All right, so he needs to make
The
a
one south of
DC 14
the one
save.
south of Druger.
Got it. DC 14 saving throw. And he makes a saving throw. No damage. Sorry, kiddo.
Whatever.
Rooker, your turn at bat, sir.
A chance to drop another sword. All right.
I hate this little like high school basketball like group hangout happening at the bottom here. Like spread out.
You guys are clustered. Okay, I'm gonna hit again. Do I get to pick up my Dragon Slayer longsword, or does that take
If
an
you
action?
that will take an action to retrieve your sword.
I'll just do 2 attacks.
All right.
But I might add a little bit of radiant damage to this one.
All righty. Which one are you attacking?
I targeted the guy to my
The other.
right.
Okay, gotcha.
I assume it's normal damage again?
Normal damage, but it is, and you do have advantage on your attack. He was reckless attacking.
Oh, he recklessed again.
Yeah, he
Okay.
recklessed. Oh, so close. I saw
Wow.
that 20 on there for a split second. I was like, yes, no.
Okay, well, we'll try that again. Second attack. Let's see if I can hit something today.
Oh,
Besides
nice.
myself.
I saw the 1 and I almost had a heart attack. All right, go ahead and roll your damage, sir. Did you say you were putting a smite on this, by the way?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
can add a booming blade in case he decides to run.
Okay. Well, the booming blade you have to declare when you attack.
Oh,
But the
okay.
smite you could add later. You just did 14 points of damage, and while you're considering that, go ahead and tell me which smite you're going to use.
Uh, the Divine Smite.
Go ahead, let him have it with Divine Smite.
It's a regular one, not a level 2. Don't forget the Radiant Soul damage.
Oh, that's right. Radiant Soul, how much did we say that adds to it? Is
5.
5 points? Wow, this creature's looking really, really shaky right now.
Divine Sense? No.
Oh, close, but no banana. That's not the one you want.
Nope. There it is.
Divine Smite. You see your blade suddenly glowing with holy energy as you swing down, and it explodes into this creature's body. Give me the damage, sir. That would be 3d8. Roll one more d8 for me, please.
Yep.
So that is now 13 points of damage as the blade goes in and you summon forth the holy energy of your spiritual guide. It comes through the sky into your left hand, through your right, and ignites into the creature's body, sending shockwaves of electricity through it as it shrieks and howls and slowly burns into a cinder and falls to the ground, a shriveled mess, dead.
That's it for my turn, I think.
Which is good because the creature next to you really wants to kill you. The creature next to you, the white guard drake, sensing that its 2 masters are dead, has now gone into a rage and immediately
It looks very
jumps
white
at
to
you.
me.
Yeah, it's kind of bluish. Tries to bite your throat. And its bite misses horribly, but it then spins to try to strike you with its club-like tail. And manages to strike, doing 9 points of damage to you, sir, as you get clubbed along the side of your head with this long ropish tail with this huge mound of chitinous armor at the end of it. Please make a DC 10 saving throw against your constitution to keep your radiant soul going. And you easily manage to maintain your concentration. All right. Cauldron. You're gonna
Yes.
probably have to take a step to the right or to the left to draw a bead on this guy because he is behind cover unless you don't mind taking the disadvantage of him being in partial cover.
So, what is he getting cover from?
Ruger is standing on a rock, and he's on the other side of the rock. Let me move Ruger for you so I can show you what I mean. See?
The page froze on me. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, see, there's a rock right here that he's directly behind.
Okay. Yep, I can move. Is that good enough? Like here?
Yeah, I think you can draw a bead on him from there.
Okay. Probably even move closer, but that's probably fine.
We'll say that's good enough. You're an excellent archer, and as you come around, you go like, clean shot. Here it goes.
I'm actually going to cunning action steady aim beforehand.
There we go.
I'll just click that. So we know that I've done that.
A 2 and a 1.
Come on.
What is with the
You're-
dice roller today?
We're getting a lot of 1s and 2s today. A lot of 1s
It's
and 2s.
having a bad day, huh?
Yeah, but there's a lot of cover there. I think that has something to do with it. Not that the game knows that, but we know that, so it just senses the environment for us. It's trying to make it more realistic as your arrow goes in, and it was just about to strike it in the eye, but it glances at the last second off of a rogue branch that was in the way. Mr. Owl.
Oh, the owl. Well, the owl's going to hit the ice drake, that's for sure.
He does need to get where he can get a bead on him, just like you. Just like Cauldron, he's got a problem reaching that guy because he's directly behind the rock that you're standing on.
Where is the owl? I can't seem to find him.
He's right here.
Oh, there he is. Two, three, four. So he needs to get out to the side.
That is correct.
Is that the idea?
Mm-hmm.
Would that do it?
Yeah, that's good enough.
Okay. I think you guys should all find a familiar.
Actually, 2 of them can.
Yeah.
I know. Right animal.
What?
I'm waiting for the right animal.
What do you mean the right animal?
Because don't you have to like run into an animal and then you make it a friend?
No.
No, I think you just ask for it. and
Okay,
it
well,
picks
don't
these.
talk to me like that. Like I know this. Okay.
Oh,
I don't know.
you
What
hit.
I just
And I
manifested.
believe it was referring to Damien and Cauldron who could do that, since they can learn wizard spells.
That is correct. That is correct.
Oh,
Actually,
wait, but I
she
too.
actually can. She actually does have that ability, and I'm not exactly sure where she got it from. It may have been from her background. I'm not exactly sure, but she does have it as an option, but she would never do it because as a warlock, that's not a spell you would want to go and use a warlock
yeah.
slot for. Yeah, that would be kind of silly. All right, so Ruger, that was a blistering shot. You notice that this thing does not respond well to flame. It is now on fire, and it is shrieking. Oh, actually, I almost bloodied your owl. Sorry, one moment. That was my mistake. Sorry. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. He's really, really bloody now. All right.
Leave my bloody owl alone.
Yes. So, did I move Ruger? I did, didn't I? He's right there. There he is. All right. It's like, I'm going down, you're coming with me. So it decides to attack. First with its bite. Once again, it jumps up to try and bite your throat. And
Isn't it
it
Ravina's
misses. No,
Is
it's.
my
Oh, that's
combat
right. I'm
checkers all off?
sorry. You're sorry. Because it was your owl, the way it pops up on my screen, it went back to you in my UI. I apologize. It is Ravina's turn. I apologize. Sorry,
Oh, it's all good. I literally wouldn't have noticed. But
it had switched. It had switched on me because of the way the combat, the way that
No problem.
my controls work. There you go, Ravina.
well, listen, because y'all are crowding all of the bad guys and hogging them for yourself, I will come out. I will join you in this crowding.
All right.
Yay, Ravina
It's a
coming!
party!
It's a party started.
Sacrificing cover. She comes out to go and say, "Fine, okay, fine. You really want to die? I will help. You are gonna have to take a couple more steps over to your left if you're going to get line of sight on this thing.
Alright, get line of sight on this thing.
You'll have to come to about there. There we go. Cool. Right next to Cauldron. That will work just hunky dory. Go ahead, hunky and dory. Go ahead and target him.
Like, you know what? I haven't lost faith in it. Let's do Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast!
Eldritch.
You gotta hit at least one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she's
Hey
hit
guys,
one.
I am back. Sorry to keep you guys. Sorry to be
Cool.
away. I'm back.
These are my shots. These are my shots, man. I'm focused. My targets. They're gonna.
Just in time.
Oh, and you hit the creature with your
Yes!
agonizing
But
blast.
we hit.
All right.
Oh my god.
Rolling your damage. Perfect 16. There is a blast of energy that strikes
Oh
the
my
creature directly
lord.
in the chest. You see the eldritch energy suddenly start to go and eat into the scales on its chest and eat in, and then start slowly creating a small hole in its armor and then going straight through to the other side. You can now see the trees on the other side of the creature as it flops to the ground. The ground doesn't go invisible. It flops to the ground, dead. And ladies and gentlemen, and just as you are all high-fiving one another with respect to this combat, and justifiably so, you hear this.
No.
That just scared the absolute bonks out of me.
So, is that
okay.
a train?
I turn off the radiant soul.
And as you look up above you, you see flying down into the clearing
Turn off the lights! Turn off the lights!
an enormous,
Get off the roof, get off the roof, get off the roof!
as you all immediately turn to your left, you see flying into the clearing that you are all now standing in, flying above you, a large, white, leathery set of wings attached to a long snake-like neck, and in the faint moonlight that is coming through the trees, you can see the glistening of icy scales as a white dragon descends upon you.
Ragnarok!
Okay, guys, listen.
I
I
may as
really
well
wish
leave
the
the.
show notes here.
But don't worry, because we're picking up there next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, thank God. I need to freaking figure this out.
I am so American. I showed up at the very end.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
All right.
I've been having breakfast. So what's going on, huh?
All
Yeah,
right.
I guess I may as well leave the radiant soul on for the next battle.
All right, folks.
Yeah, we've been made.
We will pick you guys up next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you very much for being on the game today. We'll see you next week.
Pasta's in your pot.
Pasta's in the pot.
Pasta's in the pot.
Yes.
All right, guys, I will
It's
leave the
passing
game
on.
up for a few minutes, so if you want to go in and make journal entries, modifications to your character sheet, you're all good to go, okay?
All right.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
Good game.
Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye.
Good battle.
All right, later.